slasher spree, where mysteries and terror be and darkness comes for you and me. Join us on a slasher spree. There's no place to hide, and soon you'll see Siblings on a slasher spree.
Welcome to all you spooky-loving souls out there. The Slasher Siblings are back with a new chapter and a new set of episode topics.
That is correct. This chapter, we are going to explore the history of, or the science behind, some of our favorite fringe spooky topics.
Ooh. And to kick this off, I felt it appropriate for us to discuss our all-time favorite topic, us.
Okay. I think there are things I enjoy discussing more than myself, but that's okay. We will give this one a go.
Okay, yeah, don't harsh the vibe. We are incredibly interesting people, at least from the perspective of a mental health professional.
That's true. That's true. That's likely the closest your delusions have come to reality.
Okay, I'm going to ignore how passive-aggressive that sounded and just say thank you. Now, originally, I was going to give us each a full episode to explore our origin stories, but maybe that's a little much.
Good Lord, that is too much. It's too much. Instead, we're going to discuss popular milestones and how they relate to us individually or as siblings. We do share a lot of the same backstories, so we don't want to be repetitive either.
No, repetition is absolutely the attention killer.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
while we definitely want to slash our way into your hearts and nightmares, we most certainly don't want to slash your attention. That would be a travesty.
With that in mind, let's get started. Randy, since you were born first and therefore forever the oldest,
And thanks for
you'll
that.
you will respond first. Cue the prompts.
The Slasher Siblings are born.
According to my birth certificate, I was born and given the names Randy William Curry on October the 8th, 1986 in York, Ontario. I was
Oof.
the first, York,
I was
Ontario.
I was oofing 1986, but
Oh, wow, okay. Again, thanks for that. I was the firstborn grandchild on our mother's side and therefore was treated like the second coming of Jesus. It didn't help that I was an absolutely gorgeous and well-behaved baby, so I was #blessed right from day one. It was actually because of my perfection that our folks decided to go for number 2.
joke was on them. Because that was misguided. Uh, I I was born and given the names Kristen Elizabeth Curry on April 17th, 1989.
Whoa!
Still younger than you. In Etobicoke, Ontario. I was the second born grandchild on our mother's side, and I was the first girl. So I had that going for me. You'd think I had that going for me. My mom and my aunt were just like horrible as kids, as teenagers. Like they were just terrible. So my grandmother, rest her soul, was so upset that I was not a boy that she sobbed. She cried, not in a good way, when she found out that my mom was having a girl. Um, my mom thought karma for sure was coming for her. So she was also maybe not terribly thrilled that I was I was a girl, but hey.
I mean, I always love that story. It feels like the makings of like a supervillain from Gotham City or something.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Everything's fine. It's totally fine. It's fine.
What's in a name?
I was named after my dad's best friend Randy, who tragically passed away in his sleep in the mid to late 1970s after a bout of intense partying.
Ooh.
Hopefully we don't
Womp
draw.
womp.
I don't want to draw any parallels there. My middle name, William, was bestowed upon me to honor my great-great-grandfather, who also passed away a few years prior to my birth. Apparently, allegedly, according to Mom. He was a farmer, which does surprise me because I am not a fan of nor skilled at any form of physical labor.
We both have that, and we've come a long way from sowing oats in them fields. Or sowing oats something you do when you're single and you're like, anyways, it doesn't really matter, I guess. Is sowing oats an actual thing that you do in fields?
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Um,
guess.
so after consulting with our mother, it turns out I do not have a namesake. Shocking. Randy has a thoughtful, meaningful name, and I got whatever popped into their heads. Um, Maybe I had an intended namesake, but then I brought shame to the family by being born with a vagina. So, fun fact though, my original name was supposed to be Karen.
Mm.
Not good in this day and age.
I mean,
But
you have your moments.
uh, but Mama Slasher changed her mind at the last minute and went with Kristen, which I think she randomly heard on All My Children.
Oh.
Again, not as a touching story. My middle name, Elizabeth, is a family tradition.
Oh,
All of the oh, are you trying to make me feel better?
yeah.
Uh, all
See,
of
there's something. It's a little something.
all of the firstborn women in our family are given Elizabeth as their middle name. Why? Not sure. Probably just because we're basic white people. But maybe it's a mystery. Maybe there's some other reason, but I'm gonna go with white.
Family dynamics.
Papa Slasher was the 8th born of 17 children to Mildred and
Ugh.
Michael Curry.
I feel I need a sound effect, like a dread, when you say 17 children.
You need like a balloon popping. Anyway,
Okay,
yes,
carry
you
on.
did hear
Carry on.
you heard that correctly. My
Yes.
paternal grandmother, or grandmama Slasher from here on out, so we can keep them straight,
Lord.
was pregnant for 20 straight years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have yet to watch a horror movie with something more terrifying than that. Honestly,
Ugh.
I just shuddered thinking about it.
Mhm.
But moving
Mhm.
on, Grandmama Slasher was a homemaker. My paternal grandfather, or Grandpapa Slasher from here on out.
Oh my lord.
I know we need like a slasher family tree that we can post.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had the reputation of maybe not being the nicest human being. No tea, no shade. He
Mm.
was a bricklayer by trade and fought in France during World War II. Fun fact, he helped build Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. See, you learn something new every day.
Right.
So our mom was the firstborn of three children to Dawn and Joan Ramsey, or Grampy and Grammy Slasher. But it's too much. I'm gonna probably just stick with Grammy and Grampy.
Okay.
Grampy, I think they'll be able to follow. Uh, Grampy was Etobicoke's fire chief, and had a very distinguished career in that field. Grammy worked as a secretary at the local elementary school until her MS diagnosis in the early to mid 1980s. Due in part to this diagnosis, our family moved into the basement of their house where we lived for, oh God, 6 years?
Yeah.
About that?
Yeah, we then moved across the street into our own home from about 1993 to 1998.
Hmm.
It was then that our family decided to leave Etobicoke and headed north to a town called Elkona Beach, which is
Mm.
located in Innisfil, Ontario. Shout out to any Elkonians listening. Go Titans!
Go sports! I just like it when both teams have fun.
I think that's an unpopular opinion, but
Nah,
okay.
I know.
Personality shapers. Childhood memories.
It actually took me a few days to settle on what I was going to talk about here. We had an incredibly privileged and loving childhood environment, and there is really no juicy trauma that I can serve up here. One thing I know for sure helped shape me was that Grampy Slasher was big into new technology. We were the family with the video cameras. We were the family with not one, but two computers in the late
Mm,
1980s, which was
yep,
basically unheard of.
yep.
Some of my earliest memories are sitting on Grampy Slasher's lap and learning how to use and navigate computers, playing online games like Doom or Myst. I would not be the tech savvy freak show I am today had it not been for that influence.
And so Randy just said that we have no juicy drama or troms or anything as kids. As the younger sibling who wasn't worshipped simply for existing, I am going to spill some tea.
Oh,
Uh, Randy the golden child could do no wrong. That continues to this day. But it feels like an entirely separate episode.
yeah, I can see the title now. Randy, the Golden Child. Ooh, or an entire chapter just based on how loved and adored I am. Each episode can have a different topic and theme. I'm here for it.
Okay, so as I was saying, the only scars, like physical and maybe emotional scars that I have actually come from Randy.
Oh, we're gonna go there. Okay.
Yep. So some of my childhood memories, as lovely as your playing computer games with Grampy was. So I remember we were very young. I'm gonna say I was about 6 or 7. We were playing. My parents were having some friends over. They were downstairs. We were upstairs. We were hanging onto each other's shirts, spinning, 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 and then letting go and just letting gravity do its thing. Gravity? Physics? No,
Sure.
not gravity.
Science.
Hashtag science. So, anyways, spinning, spinning, spinning. Randy lets go early, and my head collides with the corner of the wall. Face
Oopsie doops.
opens, blood everywhere. I run up to my room crying. Randy nonchalantly goes downstairs to my parents and their friends, and they're like, "Oh, Randy, where's your sister?" I don't know. She's crying in her room.
That was very
So,
much your vibe.
yeah, that actually is true. So, again, second child, no one's concerned. But I guess I was crying in my room for a little bit too long. So Mama Slasher came upstairs to see what was wrong, opens the door, and there's just blood everywhere. Like I am covered in blood. My pink uh bedspread blood, the door blood, because like head wounds bleed
They
too,
gush.
right? So she's like, "Oh my god!" So yeah, we went to the hospital. I got stitches in my forehead. Um, God, there's so many. There's so
There's a
many. There's the
there's a
time that
lot.
you told me that I could slide in bare feet on hardwood floor, and I believed you and tried it and smacked my face off the floor and lost my teeth. That was a thing that happened.
Oh no.
I remember you, for whatever reason, by surprise, one day I was looking in a craft cupboard that we had in our basement, and you came flying around the corner and put a zip tie around my wrist, like as tight as it could go. And we're like, ha ha! And I don't know when I'm like, ah, it was really tight. Like it was like circulation cutting off tight. And you're like, oh my
Yeah.
God, fine, don't be dramatic. I'll get it off. And you got a pair of scissors and you cut it off, but like cut like a huge flap of skin. So I had this like triangle flap of skin. I still have that scar too.
Oh
I
god.
also can't remember if this was you or Corey, but there was a moment when one of you, maybe it was a joint effort, were trying to choke me with a sock, and you had
Mm,
gone to bring the sock around my neck, and the sock caught my braces and ripped the whole like top part of my braces off.
I'm
Anyways.
going to take this opportunity to put that on Corey because number one, it sounds a little uninspired. Sorry, Corey, but that wasn't really my jam. And two, I'm pretty sure I had moved out by the time you got braces.
Yeah?
So I don't think I
Oh,
was
okay.
there.
Well, maybe you were visiting. I don't know.
That's
But
the only one I know for sure wasn't me. The rest of them were for sure me. Sorry.
yeah. So to sum up my personality shapers as a kid, we had a lot of blood. We had flapping skin. We had dental nightmares. So, anyways, I'll throw it back to Randy and his privileged upbringing.
And look at how well you turned out after all that adversity. You're welcome. While we're talking about personality shaping childhood memories, I do have a doozy for you, and it really does make a lot of sense. I asked Mama Slasher how young I was when I started getting into horror. I was definitely not prepared for her response. So she said that I was probably about 6 years old. Apparently, Mama Slasher was always into horror, so when she watched something, so did I, regardless of my age. Well, the first movies she remembers us watching together were Rosemary's Baby and The Exorcist.
Naturally.
So I'm obsessed with this now. So thanks, Mama
Yep.
Slasher, for giving me these cherished memories.
hmm
I also feel compelled to talk about the time I was like, what? Oh, God, 7, 8?
Okay.
Anyway, I was obsessed with three things at that time: Tales from the Crypt,
hmm
having magical powers, and
Yeah.
sleeping in a coffin.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't understand why I had to sleep in a boring bed like everybody else when I could
Mm.
sleep in a cool ass coffin.
hmm
I'm actually a little surprised that that wasn't the qualifier to seeing a child therapist, but instead of stigmatizing that, my family embraced it. Well,
Yep.
they met me halfway. That year for Christmas, I received a magic kit, including a cape and top hat, which
Yeah.
wasn't exactly the magical powers I was going for, but it was supportive all the same.
hmm
I also received a talking Crypt Keeper doll, and Grampy Slasher hand built me a small coffin that the doll could sleep in. It was precious, and I wish I still had it.
Yeah, and because I am such a great sister, I actually found that doll for you on eBay, and got it for you. Was it for your birthday or was it for Christmas last year?
I want to say birthday.
Okay, birthday. Complete with handmade coffin. I mean, I didn't make it when I bought it. Um, signed autograph and a personalized video shout out from John Casser himself.
Yeah, I guess I really should have maybe scared you less, literally, figuratively, all of the above.
Scared, scarred. Yeah, probably. And
The
now
adversity.
we agree. One of my core memories was the craft experience in the crawl space at our
Oh
house
my
in Etobicoke,
god.
summoning the devil,
Of
as
course.
most 7-year-olds do. So we had watched the movie The Craft, and then had some of our friends over. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, was it Jennifer Lamble that was your friend and Sarah
Yep.
Furblack that was my friend?
Yep.
So anyways, we decided we were going to go into the crawl space. We had a crawl space, obviously, at this house, and try out some spells and summon whatever that spirit's name was. Do you remember the like in the name of what was the name?
Yes, it was Menon.
Yes, that.
Hail to the guardians of the watchtowers of something something, still living rent free in my head.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Uh, so, anyways, we're in the crawl space. We're asking for like a sign from the spirit or demon or whatever we thought we were doing. We tried and nothing, and we tried and nothing, obviously. Then we're like, okay, we're going to give it like one more go with all our might and our loudest 7-year-old voice. At that moment, now we know, my mom, I guess you could hear us from the kitchen. My mom sticks a our mom, she's your mom too.
She is our
Um,
mom.
our mom sticks a wooden spoon in like the floor vent and like rattles it around. And because we were in the crawl space, like the sound that carried through all of the vents and into the crawl space, oh my god, we screamed so loud and like frantically crawled out of the because you can't stand up, it's so low, and ran. She thought that she was hilarious. And I mean, yeah, later we did find it quite humorous.
Mhm.
We are no longer friends with Jennifer and Sarah, though.
Okay, so that's honestly super funny because I recently reconnected with Jennifer during the contest because I was messaging literally any person I had ever met to vote. And her and I have a dinner date in the calendar for January.
That's so fun. I do.
Yeah,
I
I'm looking
actually I
forward to it.
follow Sarah on Instagram. So I sort of see what she's doing. She seems fine. She seems fine. She's happily
She's
married. She got a
not still
puppy.
carrying this trauma.
No, I think she's okay.
Educational backgrounds.
This will be hella short and sweet for me. I graduated from Nantyre Shores Secondary in Alcona Beach in 2004 with an Ontario Scholar designation. Thank you very much because of my supreme grade point average. Hair flip.
I want like a share. Oh,
Oh.
oh,
Yeah, that's what we need right
yeah.
there.
Oh!
I also received a Titan Award for drama. I was the theater kid in high school. I didn't even have to audition. The main roles just went to me because I was that kid.
There were 5 people in the entire school.
And only 2 of them wanted drama. Then, against my better judgment, I jumped directly from high school into university. Spoiler alert, it didn't end well. I was
Wah.
Wah, wah, wah. I was accepted to the University of Toronto and was exploring a general Bachelor's of Arts. I think that's what BA stands for.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I barely made it through my first semester and was put on academic probation. There's another wah, wah. But things just got worse, and I dropped out, never to return to an educational institution ever again.
Okay, so it's my time for a share hair flip.
Oh!
Oh! Oh! My time to shine. Kinda. I hated high school. Everything about it, I hated high school. I was the goth kid, like full
Mhm.
goth, that loved dance and was like a semi-serious ballerina. Those 2 things didn't jive, so I didn't have like a specific clique. You know,
Yeah.
I had a friend in the goth group, I had a friend in the stoner group, I had a friend in the cheerleading dance group. Um, that's it. I only had 3 friends. I only I
So the
had
whole school.
I had only a handful of friends, but each of them just belonged to different groups. I also had the most volunteer hours in my graduating class.
That tracks.
Right. Randy also forgot to mention the Gay Straight Alliance that we both founded.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I forgot about that. There was like 3 of us in the club,
Mhm, mhm.
2 of us being me and you.
Yes.
We even did the day of silence and just like watched Will and Grace all day, which is difficult to stay silent during because it's hilarious.
That's true. That's true. And I don't know if you remember when we did those days of silence. We had those. Well, I continued it, right? Because when you left, I was
Ah,
only
my
in.
legacy. Yes.
Yes, I continued with me in the group.
I was going to say
I think
50% of the group left.
I feel like I probably conned like Jillian into like joining the group. But we'd have those cards. Remember, it would say like, "We're acknowledging the day of silence," so that if someone's like, "Hey, how's it going today?" You're not just rude. You like hand them the card and then they read that. So stupid.
That was a lot, but very progressive for the time in that rural community.
Ooh, that's true. That's true. So, moving to post secondary, even though I am forever reminded, again, second child,
Mhm.
that I dropped out of my first try at college when I went for like a general business program. I did go on to get 2 post-secondary diplomas, one in emergency services communication, and one in social work. I
Bow, bow,
also
bow, bow!
Yay! I also collected along the way many random certificates of sorts. One being I'm actually one being that I am a certified balloon technician. So
I love that one. I honestly think that you should have some business cards printed just with that title and go to like crime scenes and be like, "Hi."
or I need like initials after my name, like
CBTP or
CBT.
something.
uh
Vocational backgrounds.
This will be the opposite of short and sweet for me because boy, do I have a laundry list of jobs I've done over the years.
hmm,
My earliest taste of working life was when I volunteered at Grammy Slasher's care home in Rexdale. I think I was maybe like 10 years old. I
hmm.
would deliver and read mail to the residents. I had a candy card I would take around and sell,
I
basically anything they
forgot
needed.
about that.
I
I
was even
forgot
in
about
their
that.
newsletter.
Oh.
I'll send it to you. I kept it, obviously. I remember though getting lost in the basement one day and I ended up locked in the morgue there.
Oh my god, that sounds
And
lovely.
yeah, it wasn't for very long, but the memory has stayed with me, obviously. It was a good memory. It was maybe a little trauma when I was in it, but now I'm like,
Mm.
oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have worked at 2 grocery stores.
Mhm.
I spent a very short time as a professional actor and model. I did a national commercial for Dentine Ice and a few odds and
Uh,
ends. I was actually recognized on a international flight because of that commercial.
what?
No one yeah,
Oh,
I was.
no.
I ended up sitting next to this lady going to Italy and she was like, "I've seen you on TV."
No.
And I was like, "No, you haven't." And
She
she was like,
mistaked you with someone else.
well, regardless, she said anyway, we're not gonna go there. I was recognized out in the real world,
Okay.
and that was
Okay.
my paparazzi moment. I was like, please, no flash photography.
Uh,
Okay, this is gonna age me a bit. So I also worked for Blockbuster, and I loved it there.
yeah.
Back when that was a thing
A
where you
thing.
used to go to the
Yeah.
store to
I
rent
still
some
love
videos.
Blockbuster.
So good,
I
so
know.
good.
Yeah.
I worked a lot of retail, and I'm just going to push right past that because I've blocked it all out.
Mhm.
I worked several different positions for the Royal Bank of Canada. I've worked for 2 different psychics, one of which was my ex boyfriend, and I wouldn't recommend putting yourself in that situation.
Mm-mm.
Quick side story then, while I was working for ex boyfriend psychic, I had really important family plans. I think I was going ice fishing with James and Lisa and all those people.
Ooh, very
Um,
important family plans.
Very important family plans. And the psychic had messaged me and said that he needed me to work that day. And I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I can't. I have these plans where I'm going ice fishing." I don't remember exactly what I told him, but he ended up responding saying that he had had a vision that
Oh.
I was going to fall through the ice if I
Oh my
went,
god.
and therefore it would probably be safer for me to come into work. And at that
Amazing.
point, I just quit. But
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. I was like, well, that's convenient. However, jokes would have been on me if I had actually died, but I didn't. I'm still
Uh,
here
that's
to
fun.
move on to my other numerous jobs as a travel agent. I've worked with you at the Halloween
Yes.
store multiple years in a row.
Yep.
I even worked in a fireworks store. And
Mm.
now all of that experience has culminated to me being an office manager on Bay Street in Toronto, which feels a little anticlimactic, but here we are.
Yeah, I mean, why do we both just have so many random jobs?
I don't
Um,
know.
can I even tell people about all of my jobs?
I mean, it's
Um,
again, safe space.
First, first job that which I'm going to put job in quotations that I remember, was an assistant dance teacher. That was when I was in high school, but that was volunteers. I didn't get paid for it.
Mhm.
I worked a lot less than you did in high school because I was a competitive dancer. Uh, and
You better work.
You better work.
and that just took up a lot of time. Normally like 3 to 5 hours every single evening, and then traveling for competitions and that sort of thing. But
Ugh, exhausting.
yeah, my first paying job though, that was at Sobeys, at the deli counter. So
What?
we've both worked at grocery stores.
Shout out Alcona Beach Sobeys.
It's the only place to work. What else have I done? So I was a store manager at the party store that Randy referenced, the Halloween store. We would open a location every year for Halloween.
Mhm.
Um, Countless temp jobs, so many temp jobs. I remember one job. This is when I met Leo. I sat for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, taping boxes, and
Ugh.
not like shipping boxes. Not that I guess it really matters, but like little baby boxes. I guess there was like a bad batch of glue um that like a manufacturer did, and the those like afterbite
Yep.
pens, like for bug bites, and they come in those like little
Yep.
boxes. The boxes didn't seal properly
Oh my
because of the
god.
bad batch of glue. So I would take a single piece of scotch tape and put it on the top, and then a single piece of scotch tape and put it on the bottom, and
And
then
this is
repeat
back when
that.
it was $5 an hour as well.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and I just repeated that 50,000 times a day.
Oof.
Uh, I worked midnights at a manufacturing plant, welding metal pieces to other metal pieces. I don't know what I was doing exactly. Uh, I've worked for different bars as like a shot girl or shooter girl, I guess they're called.
Shooter
Waitressing.
person. It's
So,
2023.
oof, shooter person. Uh, Worked at community living. I worked at Loft Community Services. That was my social work piece, and then had a major career jump. Randy and I both worked at a startup. He actually got me the job at the startup,
Oh, I forgot about that one.
and now, yeah, right, that was a big one. And now, after all of my education in the social work and the emergency services world, I am the executive assistant at a very predominant Canadian venture capital firm.
Ba, 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 ba. Why am I the bow person this
I
week?
don't know, but I like it.
Hobbies and interests.
Fun. To most, my hobbies and interests are obscure, I'm sure.
Oh, so rhymey, Dr. Seuss.
Okay. That was unintentional, I assure you, but let's push forward. My biggest interests lie in anything horror related stories, movies, collectibles, literally anything in that category. In a similar category, but still very different, and as discussed in previous episodes, I am obsessed with collecting oddities and curiosities, specifically bones or remains of the human or animal variety. Ooh, antique dolls. The more
Mm,
horrifying, the better.
mhm.
They still deserve love, and I am happy to give it to them
That's true.
because people think the doll thing is weird, but I'm like, no, they need love.
Yeah.
Also, previously discussed in a past episode is my love for karaoke. Nothing quite helps me purge negativity like belting out a classic Celine Dion or Alanis Morissette. I also have common interests like reading and traveling.
Huh,
Crazy. I know.
what a world.
What a world. Oh, and I guess most recently, podcasting.
Hmm.
Hopefully soon that will move into a
Nope.
vocational
Yup.
category, but we're not there just yet.
And that's why.
Ah!
So I mean, for me, of course, anything horror, I love literally everything that Randy just said. I
Mhm.
could just reread his paragraph,
Ditto.
but, but I'm not going to. So yes, obviously the horror is the clear one. I also really love like a creative thing as well. I love crafting or just like creating things.
Mhm.
um, I am also super into these sounds so lame, so like basic. I'm into these local workout classes. I've been doing them for months now. They're right down the street. and I don't know, I just really like them.
Mm-hmm.
Are dogs a hobby? I don't know if dogs are a hobby. They're not really a hobby.
I can hear one heaving in
I
the
was gonna
background.
say, I know. Oh my god, the poor thing. She ate an entire bag of dog treats.
Girl, I've been there.
Right. So, anyways, I don't know exactly what she's doing right now.
This is special guest star Phoebe.
Anyways, dogs. Perfect timing, Phoebes. I just love like playing with them and going on walks and their favorite like off-leash trails and all of that stuff. Once upon a time, feels like a long time ago, I was really into baking cupcakes. I love coming up with like different ideas and making them like look like things they weren't. Like that Is It Cake show.
Mm.
But just not as good as that show.
No, I have to
But I
disagree, girl.
tried.
You had it going on there for a while with
Mm,
Chrissy's Cupcakes.
thanks.
Relationships and home life.
So I live in a 3-bedroom apartment in Etobicoke with my partner of 11 years, Adam. Uh, Gay relationships are kind of like dog
Hi,
birthdays.
Adam.
So that's kind of like 70 years in gay
I was
years.
gonna say 11 times 7, 77. You guys have been together for
Oh, Kristen
77
coming in with
years.
a quick math.
There's a
Anyway, hi, Adam.
switch.
We met in 2012 while we were both working for Fossil Watches. We didn't work at the same location, but his team did come to assist mine with a store renovation, and the rest is history. We are currently known as DINKS, which stands for Double Income, No Kids. Adam would prefer that we evolve into dildos, which stands for Double Income Little Dog Owners, but he is 1000% alone in that sentiment. Dinks for life!
So does that make Leo and I dildos then?
Yeah, now.
I mean, we have one little dog, but we have a big dog as well. But anyways.
I'll give it to you.
Okay.
You can be a dildo if you want to, Kristen.
Thanks, Randy. Leo and I just celebrated our 5-year wedding anniversary. We met years and years ago at a dive bar in Barrie, Ontario.
Ooh.
Ooh. Is there an appropriate sound effect for Barrie, Ontario?
I think it's wah, wah, wah.
Or is it like a trash can? Does a trash can have a sound? Perfect. Work with that, Leo. Through the pandemic, we moved out of the city and into our gorgeous home that we love so much. We both share a love for dogs, and he has adopted my love for Halloween and scary stuff. We do spend most of our time just loving on the dogs and finding something interesting to watch on Netflix. We both love eating as well, so takeout is popular in our house because neither one of us really like to cook very much. But sometimes we do the adult thing and cook. Sometimes
Yeah,
I do the adult thing and cook.
I love that for you.
What the future holds.
Okay, so I'm going to go super poetic with this. And before you ask, yes,
Oh.
I used a thesaurus. So it's a great lead in. Here we go. In the uncertain expanse of my future, I find myself without concrete plans, floating in a sea of ambiguity.
This is why this is not vocational.
Ambiguity. That word. Rather than charting a predetermined course, I embrace the spontaneity of life, allowing its unpredictable currents to guide me. While some may view this lack of direction as a void, I perceive it as an open canvas awaiting the brushstrokes of unforeseen experiences. It's not a lack of foresight, no ma'am, but a deliberate embrace of the unknown, a commitment to embracing the twists and turns that life may offer without the constraints of predefined plans. Or, in layman's terms, I don't really give a fuck. And good luck following that, though.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Ambiguity. That's it. Ambiguity.
Ambiguity.
It's very hard to pronounce.
Yes, okay. My future. I'm certain that it involves growing old and crusty with Leo. I hope we always have the capacity to help and own dogs. I really would love one day to have like land, and like a little hobby farm with some pigs and horses and chickens, and I just think that would be precious. I want that to be when I retire though, because I need like all of my time to be that, like I don't want to work all day and then like have to do that in the evening and on the weekends, right?
Yeah, that's
So,
super cute. I totally see that for you.
yeah, we could do that. We could do that. As the coffin closes on our first episode of this new chapter, and our 7th episode in total, I just wanted to thank everyone who is sticking with us and listening week after week. There's not many of you, but we appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
With that said, please share with your friends or your family, your coworkers, everyone in between, if you think they would maybe enjoy it.
And even if you think they won't enjoy it, share it anyway.
Yeah,
But-
like just listen to it, like, but with no volume, Like put
Sure.
something on TV and then we get the plays, we get some like,
Sure. But yeah, thank you. And all of the feedback we've been getting has been wonderful, but please don't stop.
Mhm.
If you have any constructive criticism, or if you have ideas for topics you'd like to hear us discuss, please reach out and let us know.
So next week we will be unraveling the intricate web of our deepest fears as we delve into the science behind what makes our hearts race and our palms sweaty.
From the psychology of phobias to the brain's fear circuitry, join us on a gripping journey through the labyrinth of fear and discover the fascinating mechanisms that govern our most primal instincts.
You're funny. This has been Kristen.
And Randy.
Slashing our way into your hearts.
And nightmares.
Happy haunting.
Bye, witches.